All right, hi guys. So we're going to switch gears here for this week, and we're going to start circles. So the first lesson in circles is kind of a review. It's dealing with area and circumference of circles. So the area of a circle refers to the two-dimensional space inside of the circle, right? So a circle is a set of points that is a given distance away from the center. So if O here is the center of our circle, the circle is the black line around the outside, where all the points are the same distance from that center. So the area of the circle refers to the space inside the circle. Um, it's the two-dimensional surface that's covered inside the circle. Okay. Circumference refers to the length of the circle, the length around the circle. Okay, so circumference is like the perimeter of the circle. Right? And to find the area and the circumference, we need to know the radius. And the radius goes from the center of the circle to the circle itself. Okay. And then the radius is going to be half of the diameter, right? The diameter is a straight line going through the center of the circle from one side of the circle to the other. So it's really like two radiuses put together. So that's why we have the diameter is equal to 2r, because it's basically two radiuses put together. Okay, and then the area formula, which we've already done this here, is pi r squared for a circle, and then circumference is 2 pi r. Okay, so those should be already ingrained in your brain from middle school. So if they're not, we need to try to make them ingrained in your brain. Okay. All right, so let's do some problems with these. All right, so here we have two circles. Let's focus on the first one here. And they want us to find the radius, the diameter, the area, and the circumference. So the radius of the circle goes from the center to the circle itself. So that's what they're giving us. They're giving us a radius. So the radius here is 12 feet. Okay, goes from the center of the circle to the circle itself, 12 feet. All right, our diameter, which we're going to call d, right, is equal to 2 times the radius. So it's going to be equal to 2 times 12. And 2 times 12 is going to be 24. So our diameter is going to be 24 feet. Again, the diameter is the distance across the whole circle. So it's going down through the center all the way across the circle. So that's what our diameter would look like. Going all the way through from one side to the other through the point in the middle, the center of the circle. Okay, so there's diameter. All right, next up is area. So we know the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. Okay, so area is going to be equal to pi. Then we need to substitute in our radius. Our radius is 12, so that's 12 squared. Okay. So that's going to be area equals 12 times 12 is 144. So that's 144 pi. And the units there would be feet squared, right? Because we're dealing with area, it's two-dimensional. So we're covering a two-dimensional surface, so we need feet squared, 144 feet squared. If you want to make that a decimal, that's fine. This is the better answer because it's more exact. There's no rounded off decimal, but if we want to go over to the calculator and do 144 times pi, right, it's going to say 452.389342117. So if we rounded to the hundredths place, that would be 452.39. Right, so area right, it's not exact, it's approximately 452.39 feet squared. Okay, either answer is acceptable. Okay, but this one's the better one because it's more exact. 144 pi is more exact. All right, the last piece is the circumference. So we know the circumference of a circle is equal to 2 pi r. 2 times pi times the radius. Okay. So circumference equals 2 pi, and then our radius was 12. So we just multiply that out. 2 times 12 is going to be 24. So 24 times pi, and then our units was feet. So again, that's our best answer, 24 pi feet. But if we wanted to estimate, we could put 24 times pi into our calculator. And that's going to be 75.40. If we round that to the hundreds place, right, the 9 becomes a 10. So it becomes 40, 75.40 feet. So either one of the, and again, it should have been approximately, right? Approximately 75.40 feet. Right? So that's if they give you a radius, but they might not give you a radius, they might give you a diameter. So in the second problem here, they're giving us a diameter. So we know the diameter is equal to 8 centimeters. Right? We know that the diameter is equal to twice the radius. So if we plug this into our formula, 8 is going to equal 2r. We divide by 2, and we're going to get 4 centimeters is going to be equal to our radius. Right? Our radius is going to be half of the diameter. Diameter goes all the way across the circle through the center. Radius goes from the center of the circle to the circle itself. Okay, so we have a radius. We already have the diameter. It was given to us. Right, we got to find the area now. So area of a circle is pi r squared. So we're simply going to plug in that radius. So area equals pi times 4 squared. So that's going to be 16 pi centimeters squared. That's the best answer you can get. If you want to approximate it, we can do 16 pi, which I think is 50.3. Yep, 50.26. Let's say 50.27 centimeters squared. So area is approximately 50.27 centimeters squared. And the last thing here is the circumference. The circumference equals 2 pi r. So circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius, which is 4. So that's going to be 8 pi, and your units there would be centimeters. Okay. Or you can put it in the calculator, and we can do 8 times pi, which is going to be 25.13 centimeters. So the circumference is approximately 25.13 centimeters. Okay. Right. So fairly simple, should be mostly review from middle school math. Okay, this week's going to be a little bit easier, I think. All right, and then we have 2 more problems we want to look at here. One, they're going to give us the area, and we want to find the circumference. The other one, they're giving us the circumference, and we want to find the area. All right, so let's put down our 2 formulas here. So area is equal to pi r squared, and circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Okay, so to find circumference, we're going to need the radius first. So we're going to have to use the area formula to find the radius, and then once we find the radius, we can plug it into the circumference formula, substitute it into the circumference formula, and then solve for circumference. Right? So the area is 81 pi. Remember, pi is just a number. Right? It's not a variable, it's a number. So 81 pi equals pi r squared. We can divide both sides by pi. So that cancels, you get 81 equals r squared. To get rid of the square, you square both sides. So we get plus or minus 9 equals r. Right? But because we're dealing with radius, we have to have a positive radius, so it can't be negative. So we're just going to take the positive 9. Okay. And once we have that, we can substitute that in to our circumference formula and find the circumference. So circumference is going to be 2 pi times 9, which is going to be 18 pi. Right? There's no units here, right? Or we could put it in the calculator and do 18 times pi, which is 56.55. So it's approximately 56.55, right? But again, this is your better answer because it's not rounded off. This answer is rounded off, so it's really only an approximation. This is an exact answer. Right, and then likewise, we can go the other way as well. So in this one, they give us the circumference, and then we can find the area. So if we write our formulas out, we have circumference equals 2 pi r, and then area equals pi r squared. Okay, so to find the area, we need the radius, and we're going to use the circumference to find the radius. So circumference equals 2 pi, and then our radius, they give us their circumference. So our circumference is 10 pi, right? This is how we got the 81 pi here, right? We substitute this in for area. So now we're substituting in 10 pi for the circumference. So 10 pi equals 2 pi r. All right, we can divide both sides by 2 pi. So that cancels, and you're left with r on the right side. That's what we put r. Okay, that cancels. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your radius is 5. And we can now plug that in here to find the area. So area of a circle equals pi r squared. So it's pi times the radius, which is 5 squared. 5 times 5 is 25. So you get area equals 25 pi. Right? That's your best answer. If you want to approximate it, we could put it in the calculator and do 25 times pi. Again, remember, pi is just a number. It's not a variable. So it's going to be 78.54. So area is approximately 78.54. Okay. So that's really as hard as the first lesson for this week goes. It gets, so it should be a fairly quick, fairly easy assignment this week. Let me know if you have any questions or need any further help.